Eileen Gu in tears after defending her Olympic halfpipe title, learning of her grandmother's death. Livorno, Italy, AP. By taking chances, Eileen Gu is building a sport. She's winning medals. Yet on a sunny Sunday at the Olympics where she defended her title on the halfpipe, maybe the best prize of all was knowing her grandma would be proud. That's why her tears flowed freely. Not long after the victory gave her a record-breaking third Olympic gold medal in free skiing, Jiu learned her grandmother, Guozhenfeng, had died. She was a steamship, Jiu said. This woman commanded life, and she grabbed it by the reins, and she made it into what she wanted it to be. It's the way Jiu, the 22-year-old, born in America but competing for her mother's homeland of China, likes to approach skiing, school, life, and everything she touches. She inspired me so much, Jiu said. The last time I saw her before I came to the Olympics, she was very sick, so I knew that this was a possibility. I didn't probably say that I was going to win, but I did promise her that I was going to be brave. She's been brave. Jiu knows she has naysayers and knows what to say to them. Jiu has had to exhibit a certain amount of bravery, too, over her young life. There's bravery on the mountain, where she puts her health and her life on the line with every jump. Then, there's the will of steel she needs to deal with her world off the slopes. Barely a day has passed at either of her two Olympics when Jiu doesn't get asked about the country she competes for almost as often as her free skiing. Not a day passes, either, where she doesn't lean into the same message she's been delivering for years. If people disagree with me, if they have other skill sets, which I'm sure they do, then I encourage them to direct it elsewhere, she said, to make the world better in their own way. At her post-victory news conference, the well-spoken Stanford student handled all the questions about geopolitics, her brain power, the future of skiing, head-on, but always bringing the conversation back to the reason she has captivated an audience in a sport that doesn't always do that. The difficulty of competing in 3 events, making finals in 3 events, she said. I had to compete 6 times. I kind of liken it to a marathon, with the pace of a 100-meter dash. I took a big risk in trusting myself, and I'm glad that I did. By trusting and winning, Jiu has become the most decorated free skier in the short history of the sport at the Olympics. Beyond the medals, she is growing the sport. She cited a Chinese government study saying more than 300 million people in China have tried snow sports for the first time since she captured her 3 medals there at the last Olympics. There are girls in China whose lives are going to be touched by the beautiful and wonderful power of sport, Jiu said. That, in and of itself, is absolutely measured impact that I think I had always wanted. A life after skiing focused on global beneficial impact. Asked what her life after skiing might entail, Jiu stayed with the broad theme of global beneficial impact, but said her pillars right now remain skiing, sports, and fashion. She'll be at a fashion show in Milan this week. Things could change down the road. I think it's more assessing your individual skill set and trying to say, okay, what is the way that I can as a person do the most good in the world? Jiu said, right now, I'm young. I'm energetic. Competitors catching up, she'll need it. The example she has set for skiing has made this a better spot. 4 years ago, when Jiu closed out those Olympics with a gold on the halfpipe, there was a tinge of resignation among the other skiers. A machine, Canada's runner-up Cassie Sharp said back then. And American Carly Margulies agreed that Jiu was skiing at a level that's pretty unattainable for a lot of us. Now, there's a sense they are catching up. Britain's bronze medalist Zoe Atke actually jumped higher out of the halfpipe than Jiu. China's Li Fenghui finished second, and had she tried 6 tricks instead of 5, who knows what might have happened. She's a great skier, and she raises the level for everyone else, said Canada's Amy Fraser, who finished 4th and is the lone skier to beat Jiu over the past 4 years. But she's not unbeatable. In a way, that's exactly what Jiu wants. If I went to a middle school and beat everybody at freestyle, it's not exciting for anybody, right? She explained. Once her news conference was over, she exited out a side door, then climbed a grandstand for a few more pictures, a few more hugs. Her grandma didn't see this victory, but Jiyu couldn't have done it without her. That's why I keep referring to this theme of betting on myself and being brave and taking risks, Jiyu said. It actually goes back to that promise I made my grandma. I'm really happy that I was able to uphold that and hopefully do her proud. Eileen Jiyu in tears after defending her Olympic halfpipe title, learning of her grandmother's death. The halfpipe was still echoing with applause when Eileen Jiyu finally allowed herself to breathe. Moments earlier, she had been suspended between earth and sky, rotating, twisting, carving her name once more into Olympic history. Snow sprayed in silver arcs beneath her skis. The cold air burned her lungs. Gravity had seemed optional, and when she landed her final run, clean, controlled, triumphant, the scoreboard confirmed what the crowd already knew. She had done it again. Olympic champion. The roar of the stadium rose like a wave, cresting and crashing over her. Flags fluttered. Cameras flashed. Commentators spoke in breathless fragments about dominance, grace, legacy. At just 20-something, she had defended her halfpipe title, an achievement so rare it felt almost mythic. She smiled wide, eyes bright, cheeks flushed from wind and effort. She bowed slightly to the crowd. She waved. From a distance, it looked like the perfect moment. But perfection is fragile. As she skied toward the sidelines, hugging competitors and exchanging congratulations, a quiet urgency began to form around her team. A phone was passed discreetly. A coach's expression shifted, subtle, but unmistakable. The celebration paused. Just for a second. Eileen noticed. She stepped out of her skis. Snow crunched beneath her boots. Someone touched her arm gently. Another leaned in close. There are moments in life when time fractures, when the world continues moving, yet something inside you goes still. Her grandmother had passed away. The words didn't register at first. Not fully. They hovered in the cold air between them. Passed away. Grandmother. The stadium was still cheering. For years, her grandmother had been a steady presence behind the scenes of Eileen's meteoric rise. Not always in the front row of competitions, not always quoted in headlines, but present. In childhood mornings before training sessions, in phone calls across time zones, in quiet reassurances when the pressure mounted, she was part of the foundation beneath the spectacle. And now, in the very hour of victory, she was gone. Eileen's eyes filled before she could stop them. The tears came suddenly, unfiltered, cutting warm lines down her wind-chilled cheeks. The cameras caught it. The champion overcome, not by fear or defeat, but by loss.